Welcome to this week's Soundbite, brought to you by Daniel Kemp and Andrew Cull here at Sound Property, where we have a look around the grounds in the property investment market, some tips and tricks, and also just some common questions that we get here at the agency. Daniel, how was your weekend?
Yeah, extremely busy. Mine wasn't as busy as yours, but still in the play with a few options, which is good.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of people out and about. One inspection we actually went to had over 60 groups through over Saturday and Sunday. Yep. Currently going through best and final, 11 offers on the table, so extremely busy. A lot of competition.
Yeah, I think it's the busiest weekend I've had so far this year. I think I was still trying to put a contract together for clients at 9 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday, so no rest for the wicked in the glorified role of a buyer's agent this weekend.
Yep.
But look, obviously very, very happy to get some good results for our clients, and I just don't know how people can compete at the moment, not only in the negotiations, if you don't have that experience, but also in just kind of keeping it together. I know that you've had one recently where the contract, you've had to pull the solicitor in, the mortgage broker, just in terms of a servicing issue, in terms of extending settlements and all these types of things, which again, without that experience, it'd be quite challenging for the regular person to try and transact.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. It helps having someone on your side.
Yeah, keeping the team together.
That's it.
And mate, houses versus units, we get asked this a lot at the moment, and we're very generally probably preference over houses for us at Sound Property, looking at a long-term growth objectives. But we probably will see in the next couple of years units playing a bit of catch-up just with all the immigration that's coming in. I think they will migrate towards the apartment market initially, but then obviously they'll put pressure on that future housing supply, which we've talked about in previous episodes. But for us at Sound Property, we're always about that long-term growth. It's not about a year or two trend for us. We don't kind of chase fads like that. So it's really interesting to look at the long-term results of houses versus units. And you had one recently in Rushcutters Bay. Was it a client?
So I was comparing two different markets essentially. That they basically wanted me to inspect a property in Rushcutters Bay. I actually looked into two different markets at the long-term growth over the last 25 years. It was actually really interesting. Rushcutters Bay, that apartment was achieving 5.6% long-term growth averages.
Yep.
Whereas the markets that we would look with that price would be around over 7.5%. So long term, that there's a massive difference.
So we might be able to put that on the screen to have a look at that comparison chart between buying something with a long term growth of 5% versus something at 7.5%. It can be literally hundreds of thousands of dollars of difference. And I think people initially just gravitate towards units because it's feels comfortable. It might be in the suburb that they live and it's what they can afford and all that kind of thing. But when you actually look at the long-term performance of units versus houses in this country over the last 30 years, houses have always outperformed units, and that will continue, especially with this immigration and the long-term pressure that will put on housing supply.
Yep.
Another thing that we get asked quite commonly is, should I buy a place that I might move into? So some people have, aspirations to do a bit of a sea change in 10 or 20 years, and so they think by investing now in one of those areas, they're going to get the best of both worlds. They're going to get an investment plus also something that they might be able to move into. Yep. Do you get that one a bit?
Mate, I got that one twice this week, actually.
Yeah,
so it's a good question.
Quite common. But I always try and tell people to dissect the strategy. Are you buying an investment or are you buying a place to live? Because it can muddy the waters when you try and combine the two, because it doesn't end up being the best investment if you are looking at it as a place to live, because you've got all that emotion in it and it's where you'd want to live and how you want things to be, which might not be the best pure investment. And it doesn't end up being the best place to live because people's situations change. 10, 20 years is a long time. And we find that it's 99% of the time people don't actually move into the place, and then it's really just been an investment, and the question is, has it been the best investment? So I always advise people to try and really just dissect the two motivations and just ask the question, are you buying an investment or are you buying a place to live?
Yeah, no, that's a great tip.
Yeah. So that's it for today. Thanks very much for tuning in to this week's Soundbite. We look forward to catching up with you next week.